Welcome to Programming in Java tutorials. So in this video we'll be discussing about the usage of final keyword in Java. So when you take a final keyword, so in Java programming language there are lot of keywords we can use. One of the keyword is a final keyword. So using this final keyword there are three applications. We can use final keyword for three purpose. So first application of final keyword is you can create a constant data. So if you want to create a constant data, we can use final keyword. So final can be used to declare a constant value. So what is mean by constant means, variable, right? So variable is used for storing a value, and if you want to change it anytime we can we can replace the value or reinitialize the value, right? So constant is actually a fixed value, it will not be changed. So when you apply final keyword in a variable declaration, the value cannot be modified. So that is the first application of final keyword. Then next we have two more usage of final keyword. So one is with inheritance. So next usage is with inheritance. So inheritance basically inheritance where we create a superclass and subclass, and we derive the data and functions to the subclass, right? And also we can use overriding in inheritance. So in inheritance, if you are using a final keyword in a method, okay, if you use final keyword in a method, that method cannot be override. You cannot, the overriding is not possible. Similarly, the final keyword you can apply in class also. If you apply final keyword in any class, that class you cannot create a subclass. So inheritance is not possible with final keyword, right? So if any class is declared as final, then inheritance is not possible. So these are the three usage of final keyword. So let's understand with an example. So if you make any variable as a final, you cannot change the value of a final variable, it will be constant. Okay, so you will be getting a compiler error. So I'll show you one example with a program. So for example, here I have created a program with the main function. So if you want to create a variable, for example, normal variable, normally when you create a variable, we can change, we can replace. For example, this a we can increment and we can display the value a. So when I run the program, you'll get the value is reinitialized with the 101, right? The value of a is reinitialized with the 101. If I make this variable as a final variable, what will happen is this variable becomes a constant. It becomes a constant value. So constant means the value we cannot change. So if I run again, definitely we'll be getting the compiler error. The compiler error will be shown. The error will be like this: the final local variable cannot be changed. It must be blank or not using the compound assignment. Okay, so it means final local variable we are trying to modify. So the compiler says final local variable cannot be changed, cannot be assigned anymore. Okay, final means it's a fixed data. So this is one of the usage of final variable. The next usage is using the with inheritance. The final keyword prevents inheritance. So basically inheritance means we can create a superclass and we can create a subclass. So this is a inheritance relationship. So we have a class bike and class Honda extends bike. So the data and methods of bike class can be inherited here. Okay, so basically that is a normal inheritance concept. So if you want to stop the inheritance, you can apply final keyword in this bike class. So you'll get a error. We cannot create this subclass, you cannot create. So that is a concept. So for example, here we'll understand with one example program. For example, I have a class called A. I can create a subclass through inheritance by using extends A, right? So this is what inheritance, right? So this inheritance, there is no problem. If I make a final keyword over here in the superclass, now the problem comes, the inheritance is not possible. Okay, the type B cannot you'll get a errors type B cannot subclass the final class A. So this is what the another usage of final keyword. It stops the inheritance. It will prevent the inheritance. You cannot create a subclass from the superclass. The next advantage of using final keyword is, if you want to prevent method overriding, we can go for final keyword. You can apply, select the method which you want to stop overriding, and you can add this final keyword to that particular method. So this method you cannot override here in subclass. Overriding is the process of re-implementing the superclass method in subclass. Okay, so when you apply final keyword, this will, you will get a error, compiler error you will be getting. So you cannot override the function in the subclass. So for example, so in this class I will remove the final keyword from A class. Assume that I have a function called view function. Assume that here I have a data int A, and I have a view function is available. So this will print the A value. This will print the A value only. It will print only the A value. For example, if I assign A is equal to 10, it will print A value. So now I have created a subclass called B. Now if I create a object for subclass, and if I try to access this view function, if I try to access the view function, now see, it is printing A value. The A values gets printed, right? So why? Because the function is actually defined in superclass. The function is defined in superclass. Okay, and when you extend A, this function is inherited to B class. The function is inherited to B class. What if I have one more data here, 20, and I want to display A and this data also, both data I want to display. So if I call this, if I run this same program again, it is not displaying, only A is displayed, right? A is not this, A is only displayed. This B value is not displayed. So the B value is not considered. So what I have to do is, I have to write a function here which will display this B value and this A value, right? So for that we can go for overriding. So method overriding we can use. So what is method overriding is, the same function you can take from here and you can re-implement in a subclass, so that the subclass data also I can include it. For example, here I am displaying the A data, right? So similarly we can also display the B value like this. B value, I display the B value also, right? So now what I have expected is done, right? So because this view function I have rewritten in B class, even though it is available in the superclass, I have written in the subclass. So this is called superclass or base class, you can say base class, and this is a subclass, or we can say that child class. Right. So in overriding means, like, we are inheriting the view function in subclass, and if I don't want this logic, I can change it by overriding. Overriding means the same function we have to rewrite and change the logic, right? So now if I call the view function using this B object, instead of calling the superclass function, this function will be called. Why? Because this function hide this inherited function. It will hide since we are overriding. So when I run the program, the output will be getting like this: A is equal to 10 and B is equal to 20. So the expected output we got, right? Now the B values also we can able to see by using this view function itself. This is what overriding. Okay. So what is the concept here is, if you want to stop this overriding, we can apply final keyword. If I want to stop the overriding, we can apply the final keyword to the superclass function, so that subclass function cannot modify the function. The subclass function can use only the same function as it is. Okay. So how will you do that? Just apply final keyword to this view function. Okay. So if you want to stop this overriding, if you want to stop this overriding process, you have to apply final keyword to this view function, so that that subclass B cannot override this view function. So you'll get a error, cannot override final method from A class. So this is another third benefit of using final keyword in Java programming. So in this video we discuss about the 3 usage of final keyword. First usage is to create a constant, and second one is to prevent method overriding. Third one is to prevent inheritance.